Hello friends from the fog, it's me Leo. Today I'm making a video about map ideas that I think should be in Dead by Daylight. I hope you enjoy it. First of all, let's just go over all the themes that you already have in the game. We have a mine theme map, a junkyard theme map, farms, a medieval theme maps, Japanese theme maps. We also have an asylum, a chapel, a hospital, or whatever the hell there is, a suburban street, a school, suburban street with a school, swamp maps, also Russian cabin, a Mesopotamian temple, a meat factory, a ski resort, a laboratory, Wild West town, a police station, a graveyard inside of a painting, a big house, a theater, a pizzeria, and 2 alien worlds. These are the themes that we already have in the game. Now let's go to the list. So least wanted to most wanted, in my opinion, of course. Yes, we have plenty of urban maps like suburban areas such as Springwood and Haddonfield, or even police stations like RPD, but we still don't have a proper downtown map, which is a shame because I think that a map like that would be very distinct from the others, especially when you consider that you could also have large open areas but also tight corners. The aesthetic could be really cool as well. Imagine the trickster map in the streets of Seoul or Tokyo in case of Tokyo Ghoul, because I think that this is definitely the type of map that would appear in those chapters if they had one. And there's even a custom map made by Hasno, I think that this is how it's pronounced, that captures the overall mood of a map like this, and I'll put the link in the description. We could also have a post-apocalyptic map. The Black Veil, if you don't know, is this mysterious organization dedicated to the worship of the entity. They exist in various realities under different names, such as the Black Serpent Society, the Black Talon, and the Black Label. They have a huge influence in the DBD lore. Ellery, the artists, the twins, and many more have a direct or indirect connection with this group, and often not in a good way. Safe to say that the presence of this group in the lore is big. For this reason, I think they deserve a map of their own. There are maps that are connected with them, like Garden of Joy for example, but we still don't have a proper Black Veil map itself. It could be a church, a temple, or a base, anything really. Personally, I think that an entity church could be really great. Like imagine the dark ambience, the carvings, the idols, the altar, the devotions to the horrors beyond our comprehension, possible nods to the characters in the lore. I think that it has potential to be one of the most macabre maps in the game. The ocean must be one of the most neglected themes in Dead by Daylight. It's present mainly in cosmetics and the lore of some characters, like the Houndmoth. But map-wise we have nothing. At least for me, the ocean is quite terrifying. A huge body of water, bottomless, dark, dangerous, unknown, yet we have no map with this theme. Of course, when we think about an underwater map, we're thinking about something like Bioshock, Soma, or even the 1989 movie The Abyss. A map like that could explore very well the fear of the unknown. Of course, the technical limitations of the game are the main barrier for this type of map. Now, there's a trope that we are definitely missing. The amusement park. We kinda have that with the Father's Campbell Chapel, at least the carnival vibes from the circus part, but having a dedicated amusement park map could be a fantastic addition to the game. We could have a mirror maze, roller coaster, Ferris wheel, bumper cars, carousel, even a haunted house. Hell, this could even be its own realm. The amount of possibilities with a map like this is huge. Now, getting back at the ocean theme maps, we now have the ship map. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what kind of ship we are talking about. Could be a warship, cargo ship, cruise ship, that could all have their own charm. But honestly, I think that a cruise ship could have a great potential. When we think in a map like this, I imagine something like Cold Fear, Resident Evil Revelations, or the 2002 movie Ghost Ship. I think that it is much more doable than the underwater map because the ship doesn't, first of all, it can be in the inside of the ship, or the ship could be wrecked as well. A little bit like we have in the swamp map, like that, but of course the whole map would be a ship. This map is much more possible to appear than the underwater map. A prison by itself is already a terrible place, and in our setting, it can be even more terrifying. The dark environment, the suffering, the architecture as well, is a great theme for a map. Just think of something like the game The Suffering, for example. We even have a prison in the lore, the Hellshire Penitentiary, which was the place where the Deathslinger was imprisoned. Hey everyone, Leo from the future here, and yes, the behavior I just announced, I just actually released the Walking Dead PTB, and we kinda have a prison now, like a part of it, because there's a new thematic tile, and it's a tile, it's not a map, theme around The Walking Dead, and it is a mix between the hospital and the prison with the guard tower. I think would be nice if we have gotten the prison as well as a map, because I mean this is the opportunity to have a prison map, especially because it's a very important part of the series, but it is what it is. This one is quite an unexpected theme for the list, I know. Although there are many examples of scary zoos in media, we do have things like the Zoocosis and the Resident Evil Outbreak 2 map. And yes, there aren't that many really, but I still think that it could bring a great amount of ideas if we had a map like that. Just imagine the different visuals that we could have from the different enclosures, animal cages, Arctic part, or a tropical theme part of the map. Like, I really think that a map like that could be very nice, especially if you consider what kind of killer we would have with this map. Aquarium as well could be also very nice. Another odd addition that has a lot of potential is a museum. Just like the zoo, we could have a variety of themes all in one map. We could have a medieval section, feudal Japan, Wild West, pirate, which could even be made from reused assets, making the creation of this map much more easier, and also with some lore references. Of course, we could also have other themes like dinosaurs, space race, colonial period, the Second World War, and much more. We could even have themes within a theme, because there are different types of museums. So we could have a wax museum or also a horror museum. The possibilities are infinite. By far, the biggest letdown of the Castlevania chapter for me was the absence of Dracula Castle itself. I mean, literally, the place was called Castlevania in some games, and is even where the story is set in most games. So, not just that, but the castle is as much of a character as Dracula or Trevor, and his absence is odd for me. It's like having a Silent Hill chapter without Silent Hill. Castles are one of the most terrifying horror tropes in media. The Dracula movies, Nosferatu, Amnesia, and of course, Castlevania. These are just a few examples of how classic and good this trope is. And if we ever get a castle map, I'm sure it would be magnificent or creepy. It depends on the castle vibe, you know, what kind of castle we are going to have. And before we go to the number one, here goes some honorable mentions. A cave map. Cave would be very nice because caves are very tight and terrifying. Just look at the movie The Descent and you know what I'm talking about. Another one is a military base. There was a PS2 game called Area 51 that was really great. We should have something like that in Dead by Daylight. Now in number one, we have one of the, if not the most classic horror theme of all, The Haunted Mansion. Bear with me. The Haunting, The Others, 13 Ghosts, House on a Haunted Hill, The Haunting of Hill House, it's very confusing, the first Resident Evil, Clock Tower, Alone in the Dark, Fatal Frame, just to name a few, and I know I'm definitely missing a ton of other IPs. We have maps like Garden of Joy and Family Residence, but I'm not sure if they really qualify as mansions, and when I say a mansion map, I truly mean it, like a map itself being the mansion, fully indoor. I know that indoor maps are pretty much hated by the DBD community. I personally like them very much. You can see here in the list there's a lot of indoor maps. I might even make a video about it in the future, why I like indoor maps, but I'm getting sidetracked. For this reason, I think that a Haunted Mansion is the map that we are missing the most. I mean, I think we kinda almost had it on the Room Cars chapter. There was a lobby, if you remember, and it was a mansion, and it was a very pretty one, and I think it could be a very nice map. But what about you? What is the maps that you want on Dead by Daylight? Put on the comments below. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you have enjoyed. See you in the next video. Bye bye.